Hello, it's Mr. Colley, and today we're going to talk about how the 13 colonies are broken down into three sections. The sections that these colonies are broken down in, you have New England or the Northern Colonies, you have the Middle Colonies, and you have the Southern Colonies. As you can see with the states that are highlighted in blue, those 13 colonies, depending where they were geographically on this map, determined what they did for a living. And we're going to go into that a little deeper in this lesson. New England colonies. Now, the New England colonies were not going to be so much heavily relied on using agriculture as the South. New England, based on climate and land type, that's called geographical conditions. Based on their climate and land type, it wasn't suitable for agriculture. They had rocky soil. As a result, they participated in fishing, shipbuilding, the removal of forest, timber, okay? They, industry, manufacturing. The middle colonies obviously focused on industry, manufacturing, wheat, bread production, and our southern colonies. Our southern colonies, they focused heavily on agriculture. Okay, now the southern colonies, because of their geographical conditions, based on the fact that you could farm 12 months a year, 365 days a year, because of the climate and land type, agriculture was heavily relied upon down south. They were agriculture took place on large commercial farms called plantations, and slaves provided the labor for these plantations. Okay, and you're going to, every time you see on the Regents exam or on the exam that we're going to have, and you see Southern colonies, I always want you to associate with colonial America down south, slavery, plantations, okay, agriculture. If you could put that in your mind, there's not a question that'll fool you. All right. Now, yes, these 13 colonies are in the New World, far away from the king. But at the end of the day, these 13 colonies had to answer to the king, the mother country, and everything they produced here, they gave to the king. Okay. So no matter what, we're not at the American Revolution right now. We are with the 13 colonies starting out still under the king's grasp, the king's control. And these 13 colonies, everything that was produced here has to go to the king. Now, this policy, mercantilism, it's an economic relationship between the king and the colonists. The king set this up. It benefits him only. Let me explain to you how this works. The 13 colonies provide the king with raw materials. The king sells back manufactured goods. The downside to this is the colonists cannot trade with anybody else. They can't make money. They can't buy things at a cheaper rate. And they cannot basically prosper and grow. The king's keeping the colonists almost in like a adolescent stage, keeping the king in power, and the 13 colonies dependent on the king. Okay, now I want to give you an example before we go to geographical conditions. I just want to go back to mercantilism just to make sure it makes sense, because we see economic relationship. Okay, let me explain to you raw materials, everything, how this works. Say in New England, the Pilgrims clear a forest. Okay, they clear a section of a forest, they cut all the trees down, they send those trees to the king. The king breaks down those trees into timber, into lumber, and sells back to the colonists desks, chairs, and materials to make cabins. Down south, they're producing cotton in Virginia. Okay, they send the cotton to the king sells back clothing, shirts, dresses, okay? Now, geographical conditions. The 13 colonies and the location of the geography of those 13 colonies, wherever those colonies were situated, determined what they did for a living. So yes, slavery flourished down south. The reason why slavery flourished down south, the climate and land type supported it. You could farm all year round. The soil was fertile and suitable for this type of growth. If you understand geographical conditions, these two pictures you'll be able to make complete sense out of. If you live to the picture to the left, you spent your days fishing. If you live to the picture to the right, fertile soil, large open spaces, you performed agriculture for your standard of living. Now, geographical conditions are climate and land type. And I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes the Regents tries to use vocabulary that we don't use in everyday life. We never text a friend or call a friend and say, oh, what is the geographical conditions out? No. We say, is it cold? Is it hot? Should I wear a sweater? On the Regents exam and on the exam that you'll take in class, you need to know that geographical conditions, all that means is the climate and land type. Okay, so you would fish if you lived in natural harbors, and you would farm if the soil was fertile. Excuse me. Okay. I put this here so that you could feel confident and that you have a deeper understanding for geographical conditions. If you pick the picture to the left, then you definitely understand geographical conditions. You would farm to the left where the land is flat, where the land is fertile and rich for growth. You're not going to try and grow a plantation in the desert. Okay, so now I hope this presentation tied the economy together for you. You understand how geographical conditions determined the outcome of the economy of the particular state that you're looking at during colonial America. Thank you for your time. I'll see you guys in class. Have a great day. Be safe.